Guys, good morning and welcome to your show. Today is Wednesday, November 28th, 2018. Let's turn the charts on right here and take a look at this. What we see is everybody has concerns over what's happening in around Crimea with Ukraine and Russia. And they will be concerned. I've talked about this for a long time on my channel, going back for actually years, how this is the flashpoint that concerns me the most in the world. But at any rate, let's get right into other parts of what's going on in the markets. And let's take a look here at cryptocurrency. Over at my other channel called The Delta Report. You can get there just by typing in Delta Report on the YouTube search engine. It'll bring my other channel up. Please go over there and like and subscribe. But anyway, I predicted that Bitcoin was going to go into a rally once the price dropped into the 3,000s over there. And I was right on the money. We went into the little rally, but I've also predicted that it won't crest past 5,000, and that it's going to fall off to make new lows is what I think it's going to do after this rally. So I think this is kind of a head fake. This little rally that we're in right now, I think it's kind of a little bit of a head fake, guys. I think she's going to roll over again after it's over. Anyway, let's take a look. This is not financial advice, by the way. I have to keep forgetting to put that in there. This is just what I think the market's going to do. Cryptocurrency market capitalizations today. What we're seeing today is $137 billion, and we're seeing a Bitcoin dominance at 53.3%. And we're seeing all the coins going up rather sharply. We're seeing Litecoin at $34.86. It's up 17.6%. That's a lot. That's a big jump for a one-day jump. And so is Bitcoin, 12.95% in a one-day jump. You know, that's a lot. XRP, 11%, 11.9% one-day jump. Ethereum, 13.5% one-day jump. That's a lot. Let's take a look at the silver market. What we're seeing is boredom. I mean, this market's just basically dead. They've killed it. They've destroyed the free market, is what they've done, through their manipulations. You know, and their machinations, all about so that the bankers, they're a criminal cartel. You know, and it's criminal what they're doing, driving the price of silver down through paper short contracts and manipulation. It's criminal. Let's take a look at gold today. We see gold is staying down low to $12.70, $1,212.70. It's down $1.90 on the day, and there's a reason why gold and silver are staying down today, and they're keeping their heads down, you know. And there's a reason why. I'm going to get to it in a minute. Dow Jones Industrial Average right now is up 151 points. This is a little bit of a relief rally. I can't see it really making past this high right here. I don't think it's going to make it up past this high of $26,191.22. Going back on November 8th. I don't see it passing that high of November 8th. I see it petering out before it gets up to that. Anyway, let's move on to the oil price. Now, this is a very important price. The oil price, and it's starting to fall off again today. It's 51.22 right now, and it's down 34 cents on the day. It's a little bit over 0.5%, 0.66% on the day for oil. Now let's take a look at bonds and rates. Now, I said that these bond rates are going to be creeping back up, and that's exactly what they're doing. They're creeping back up. They're not shooting up, they're creeping. And this is going to take a while, because as they creep up, a little bit today, a little bit tomorrow, a little bit the next day, like take a look at the U.S. 10-year today. It's up 1 basis point. As they creep up like that, you know, They're slowly creeping up. They're going to get up closer and closer on the U.S. 10-year, back up to that 3.25. And I also said that the market's not going to roll over as long as it's down around 3.06. The market's going to roll over when it gets up like 3.35 or 3.4. That's when the market's going to really roll over. And the next time the market really rolls over, it's going to fake them all out. They're all going to think, hey, you know what, this is another correction like we had back in January and we had back in last month, you know. They're going to think it's another one of those because we've had two of those already, and we always seem to come back from it. So that's what they're going to think it is until the big day it drops down below and it really starts to fall. And that's going to scare the crap out of them. When that happens. But anyway, that's what's coming. They're going to get scared. So anyway, that's what's happening with bonds. They're creeping back up. Let's take a look at the U.S. dollar index now. This is the reason why gold and silver's keeping their heads down today. The dollar's moved a half a penny. She's moved up quite a little bit. 97.47, you know. She's halfway to 98. And this dollar strength is going to continue because as long as the oil price continues to fall, it means you can buy more oil with your dollar. This dollar strength is going to continue. As long as this deflationary pressures that the Fed's putting on by draining $50 billion every month out of the system, they're making dollars scarcer. They're draining $50 billion. And that makes dollars scarcer. Now, there's a lot of dollars hidden in the system. But those dollars aren't moving yet. So they have a net impact on the system of zero because they're in what's called a liquidity trap. And there's more dollars right now being added to that liquidity trap. And that liquidity trap is absolutely huge. Okay, if we scrutinize silver, for instance, there's like a liquidity trap of silver. There's people that have silver and have hoarded it, and that silver's not moving. There's a lot of silver out there. It's probably 10 billion ounces of silver that's trapped in the system that's not moving. People have it in their possession. They're not selling. So it's like that silver doesn't exist. Well, that's the same way with these dollars. There's trillions. There's probably more than $20 trillion out there in the system. That's more than 20 trillion. That's in the system that's not moving. It's just sitting there. People have it basically on account. It's there. It's in digital form in the system, not in physical form, because I went over that on my other channel, the Delta Report. I talked about how the difference between physical dollars and between digital dollars. The dollar's already been digitalized just like Bitcoin. And so the money that's in your bank account right now is just like Bitcoin, the dollars that's in your bank account. Not exactly like Bitcoin because it doesn't, you're not able to transfer it without having a third party. They have to have a third party to transfer it from one place to another. So it's not exactly like Bitcoin. It's not near as efficient. But it is digitalized. And it doesn't exist. So the money that's in your bank account right now is as real as World of Warcraft money. That's how real it is. In the system. It doesn't exist. It actually doesn't exist. It's only in digital form. If the computer's turned off, your bank account wouldn't be there. It's gone. It's just gone because it didn't exist in the first place. It's all digitalized. But the real money, the physical, I call it physical dollars, are dollars that have already been printed into existence, and you can actually hold them in your hand. That's getting to be a dwindling supply. It's disappearing because people are using credit so much. They're going into the store, they're either using their credit card or their debit card. And so what's happening is they don't need to put out as many dollars out there. The bank doesn't need to have as many dollars on hand and so on. It's just a shrinking supply of actual physical dollars in existence. And I think it's like shrinking in half every couple of years. The amount of actual, and what the bankers are thinking to themselves, hey, you know what, let's get rid of that physical cash altogether, not have it. So how do you withdraw your money from the bank once they get to that point, you know? And also, if we have some sort of a crisis where the power goes out, how do we make trade? Okay, if the internet goes down, how do we make trade? Once the physical's gone, once that physical, tangible cash is actually out of existence, how do we make trade if something happens? What redundant system do we actually have in place if we have some sort of a crisis in order to make trade? Well, obviously, if that happens, they're going to immediately go back to silver and gold as being the kingpins of making trade, and because and digital cash, and not digital cash, but and physical cash too. But there'll be an awfully short supply of it, because if the digital system actually were to go down, and people that out there to think, oh, that can never happen, go back into the 1800s. There was an event called the Carrington event, and back then they had a system in place where they used to be able to send telegraph all across the country. They had telegraph cables, and they could send information from one point to another, very quick rate of speed, using something called Morse code, which they tapped a little electrical signal into the telegraph cables to send information across America. Well, during the Carrington event, which was a solar event, some sort of a solar flare hit the Earth, it knocked out their telegraph system. If we were to have that event today, and they recorded that event back then, so we know it was real, if we were to have that event today, it would disrupt our system so bad that we would have to have some means of making of money again, because our digital money would suddenly be gone. They're dwindling our cash supply down, so we wouldn't have that either. What would we have? What would we trade? Well, there's a lot of people out there who are stackers, and they would suddenly have the wealth, because that's exactly what would happen. It would flip over. It would flip over to what's available. Even change in your pocket, actual physical coinage, would have a value a lot more than you could imagine, because there would be such a dwindling supply of all this. Because we've went whole hog for this new stupidity. We're in all hog for this new stupidity of this wonderful digital money that moves so easily across the internet, in the internet age, that we haven't looked back and say, hey, you know, we've walked out onto a limb here. And somebody could come along and saw the limb off, and where are we going to go? Down. Okay, listen, thank you guys for listening. Like and subscribe, and we'll catch you in the next show. Bye-bye, guys.